G'day guys, welcome back to SuperCoach with DR and welcome to my round 6 review. Hope you all had a good round. For me, it was a little bit of a mixed bag. I had some really nice scores and then some really low scores. I was looking pretty solid on Saturday, but then SBS hit me. But I think the big talking point is obviously the rookies, and I think lots of us will be looking to double downgrade this week. So for me, total score now of 12,590, a season rank 2,627, so almost moved up, almost 2,000 spots there, which is handy. And obviously my round 6 score was 2055, which I thought was a little bit average, but I think looking at some other scores in the leagues that I'm in, it was fairly decent, I think, which I was, as I said, a little bit surprised with. So let's have a look at the team, see how it performed. My two trade-ins this week, I bought Arts in. Really disappointing score after a nice 70-odd last week. But I also brought Jordan Ridley in as well, which I think was a really good trade-in for Matty Rao. So we'll start up with Doherty. Well, Doc, geez, the worst game he's played in a while. Got a few junk time possessions at the end, which didn't really scoring many points anyway. I think opposition teams are starting to put a little bit more work into him, but I'm not overly concerned. I think he's still a top six defender, obviously, but we do certainly want to see a little bit more from him next week. These three blokes here, Sicily, Ridley, and Uday. Absolutely stoked with these three guys, and they've got one thing in common, which is an ability to intercept the ball. And as we know, intercept defenders are really in fashion this year and scoring really well. And to be honest, it's almost a relief having Ridley in the side now, and he looks almost locked for a top 6 defender. He's an elite user, very composed, and you can just trust him when he's got the ball in hand. Hill, I was actually surprised, that he scored that well, but I'll certainly take it. And look, when I brought him in, I said I'd be happy for an average of around 70, so that's working out pretty well so far. Stas, he was terrible, and I hope he keeps his spot, because if not, I'm probably looking at defensive donut, and my trade plan, will really be stuffed up this week. Noble didn't play, and BZT, well, he's just deadwood at the moment, I think. I'll probably be looking to trade out Noble to a bubble boy this week coming up. Who that will be, most likely Simpson or Rankin. I may be forced, as I said, to trade into the back line there with a day possibly, but I'm hoping I don't have to do that. On to the midfield then. So Lachie Neale, a quiet game by his standards, but he just continues to dominate and is the must-have midfielder of 2020. He comes up against the Boer tag this week, so I'd be pretty happy if he could score over 100, but if you go 100 flat against a Boer, that's pretty good, I don't think. We can't complain too much. Danger, the man is back, a couple of 140s in the last 3 weeks, and it was a little bit bittersweet as he absolutely tore apart my Lions, but he looks set to get back to 600k again, and the early season Dunkley to Dangerfield trade actually hasn't ended up working out too badly so far, since Danger's, come back in the last couple. McRae had a pretty quiet first half, and it was looking like another mediocre performance, but came out and scored over 80 points in the second half. It was like the McRae of old, racking up the pill with ease and used it well on most occasions. So well done, Jack McRae. Wrapped with your game. Absolutely terrific. Cripps hurt his shoulder in the first quarter, and to be honest, he played like he was hurt. He'll be a sore boy, but he has, got high ownership. Many of us will be looking for him to bounce back, and hopefully that shoulder doesn't linger and he can manage to get through it in the coming weeks. Jack Viney, the man is back. Oh, he's inspired, repeat effort after repeat effort, and he looked like a different player as compared to last week and the weeks prior. It was like he was possessed and just brought manic pressure to the table. He also used the ball a lot better after the spotlight was put on him last week, and was part of a winning same-game multi for me, so I certainly owe Jack a beer there. Dusty, well, look, he just looks disinterested to me. I did raise some concerns with him a couple of weeks ago, and those concerns are getting a little bit stronger. I'm not trading him, but I'd love to have Baz in his place. Brayshaw, well, step on down, mate. Fife going down last week, I think, was the best thing for Brayshaw, and just continued his magnificent form from round 5. He was everywhere, used the ball efficiently most times, and had a great work rate. I really had question marks over this pick and was tempted to move him on, but I kept the faith, and he's been outstanding in the last couple of weeks. That time on ground, extra responsibility, just as I mentioned last week, has done wonders for him. So, yeah, wrapped that I kept the faith with Brayshaw. Dev Smith, he actually got a fair bit of the pill, and he was one of the highest Dream Team scorers for the Dons, but just didn't use it well enough and didn't have much of an impact on the game. He was pretty lively in the last quarter, Could have boosted that score closer to an 80 if he hadn't missed that regulation set goal on that left foot. But he's been pretty overwhelming after the last 3 weeks after 2 really solid scores to open the season with those 2 105s. But his scoring's gone on a downward trend now. The upside is that he's a pretty popular pick, so I think lots of people will be faced with the same low scores as us. But yeah, slightly concerning. I'm not wrapped with Dev at the moment, but I think most of us has probably got bigger problems than Smith at the moment. Buderick, well, he was solid. Didn't lose too much money, which was handy. Rivers didn't play. And look, wasn't it a great moment to see Harley put a cherry on top of the win by kicking the goal after the siren? And that was some really nice scenes, weren't they, for Harley? Grundy, solid, but a lot less than what most of us expected. A bit of a kick in the guts to those that rolled the dice, captained him, over the Lachie Neale vice captain, but you win some, you lose some. My rule is to usually keep a VC score of 125, so I stuck to that rule this week, and it paid off for me. Pretender, Pitney, continued his downward scoring trend as well, and I've said this for the last 2 weeks, I'm missing Gawn big time. Barring major injuries, Gawn will come into my side in round 8, as I said before, I'll most likely be double downgrading this week. Naismith, he'll just continue to sit there and make no money at R3. Simpkin, just love this guy. He's benefited from the extra responsibility in the midfield with the absence of Cunnington. He's skillful, tough, usually makes good decisions, and really, he's leading the entire Roos midfield at the moment. I think he and Goldie would be number 1 and 2 in the BNF by an absolute mile at the moment. Track, well, what could be, I think, with this man, Petrarca? He's, again, with the amount of ball that he's got, he could have gone 130, but unfortunately, dreadful kicking efficiency, gave away a couple of free kicks, but a very, very solid pick, though. And I've got the feeling he's got a massive game in him this season, and he's certainly got the potential to do it at some stage. I just think he'll go bang. On a Segler, man, this pick's hurt me in a big way. He's only in, I think, 5% of sides and an underperforming pod, which is never good. His time on ground is diminishing, and next week he's facing Max Gawn. So, he gives a few free kicks away, and apart from a DPP emergency swing into the rucks, which I currently don't have anyway until Naismith comes out, he's not offering a whole lot of value to my team. So my plan is probably to ride out the next match against Gawn, then see how he can perform against some of the less able opponents. And after next week, he would have played against 3 big Gs in Gawn, Grundy and Goldie, so he won't be facing them again, which is a big positive. I know there are still some other good rucks in the comp, but they're clearly the best 3 rucks in the comp at the moment. And look, Big Boy, he's outshining him at the moment in every way, shape and form. But I'm planning on looping him next week if possible, Segler. He's going that bad. We'll see what we can do. I haven't looked at the fixture next week when any of the teams are playing, but if I can, I will definitely be looping him. Taylor, well, so disappointing. Received a heavy knock, but even for that, he was struggling to get into the game. I was planning on holding him for another week after his 100, but I think that Rankin is about to kick him off the team. Max King, what could have been as well, missed a couple of really easy set shots on goal, and that 60-odd, that could have easily been an 80, I think. Arts on debut, well, he was manic with his pressure, particularly in the first quarter, but just didn't get enough of the ball. We had multiple bubble boys scoring 90 and 100 plus this week, so, it was really disappointing to have him on field, and if only I decided to trade Rankin in early, but, I thought I'd play it safe with Arts. He'd got a score in the 70s last week, but as I said, you win some, you lose some, and I lost on him, particularly having him on field this week, but I didn't have any other choice because Brander and Sturt obviously didn't play. They were just cold bodies on the bench. So I suppose speaking of Rankin, he'll most likely be part of my trades this week, along with Simpson from Geelong, who also scored 100 plus on debut. We'll also have a couple of defenders to select from. And look, Will Day, he played really well. And even McPherson, when he came in, played really well also. So depending on team selections, as I said before, I may be forced to trade in a rookie defender to cover a potential star donut if he's dropped. But yeah, what am I looking to do? Certainly a double downgrade. Ideally, Simpson and Rankin will come into the side this week. Noble, I just want him out. I really don't see him playing anytime soon. Starsvige, I'd like to have him out as well, but if he plays this week, I'll probably just be forced to hold him because I don't want to get a rookie defender in. I want to get Simpson in the midfield and Rankin obviously up forward. I think I also need to start to move some of these forwards back into my forward line. So what can I do there? Yeah, I think I'll use a little bit of DPP, swing with Noble maybe. I might even get him in forward, Brander down back to get Rankin in, and then maybe move Taylor into the midfield, bring one of these forwards back to the forward line and bring in Simpson for Taylor. Tell you what, the bank balance will be very, very healthy, and then the week after that, I'll be getting Max Gawn in for sure, and probably Baz, I think, as a bit of a sneaky pick. Hey, possibly even for an M8. We don't know what's going to happen during the season. As I said before, I don't think we can pay, the real heavy price for lots of these premium picks, particularly in the midfield, and lots of them been pretty inconsistent this year anyway, so I don't think it'd be a bad move looking to get Baz in at his low price after next week. So that's a review, guys. I hope that you went well. I think most of us will be looking to double downgrade this week, but stay tuned for the stock market review video. There will be a big focus, as I said, on the rookies. I might do a review on each one of the rookie targets, the bubble boys, this week within that stock market video. So stay tuned for that. That'll be out within the next couple of days, but I'm back to work now. I'm off holidays, so it may be out a little bit later than usual, but it certainly will be out within the next day or so, as I said. So good luck, guys, with the trade plans this week. Hope all is going well, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Take care, guys. Cheers. Bye.